Hello, and thank you for tuning in to Noire Histoire. I'm Natasha, and today I'll be discussing the Book of Harlan. I first learned of the Book of Harlan by Bernice McFadden from a Black History Month display at the library. The cover featuring the image of a black man in an old-fashioned suit, tie, and fedora jumped out at me. At first glance, I thought the book was going to be about a private investigator, something like Walter Mosley's Easy Rawlins books, but it's not. The back cover explained that the book is actually about a black musician from Harlem who travels to Paris around the time the city falls to the Nazis. Quite different from my assumption, but still intriguing. The Book of Harlan begins telling the story of how Harlan's parents, Emma and Sam, met and married. It wasn't a perfect love story, but their devotion to each other was sweet in its own way. At the time of his birth, Harlan's parents were still quite young and trying to find themselves. This resulted in them leaving Harlan with his maternal grandparents while they moved from city to city seeking opportunities. On the other hand, they did the right thing by leaving Harlan in a stable household, yet they fell short by failing to maintain consistent contact with him during his early years. They were pretty much strangers to Harlan when they later reunited. This resulted in Harlan viewing his grandparents as his parents and developing what I saw as abandonment issues. His aloofness hurt his mother, and his father reacted violently in her defense. Emma loves Harlan, but her guilt over abandoning him as a child leads to her being overindulgent. Sam makes some attempts to reel Harlan in, but Emma butts in and threatens Sam into leaving Harlan alone. This dynamic plays out repeatedly throughout the book. Harlan hones his manipulation skills on Emma and becomes a self-absorbed young man. His mommy issues, coupled with his egotism, result in him growing up to become an unrepentant womanizer. This is where the book started going off track for me. Male characters like Harlan are overrepresented in pop culture and media. He's an absolute cliche. The only real difference being that Harlan is an African-American man who spends time in a concentration camp. You would think that would be a dramatic experience, but it came across as flat and tedious because it's told through Harlan. Harlan starts out as a sympathetic character with multifaceted layers, but the life and feelings are sucked out of him the moment he leaves his grandparents to reunite with his parents. That could have been a great jumping-off point for exploring how these early emotional traumas affect the development of men. Harlan starts out as a sympathetic character with multifaceted layers, but the life and feelings are sucked out of him the moment he leaves his grandparents to reunite with his parents. That could have been a great jumping-off point for exploring how these early emotional traumas affect the development of men, and to some degree it was. But once Harlan became a man, McFadden lost her way with the character. The book flowed well up to that point, but then felt like it hit a brick wall. Once Harlan's emotions closed off, so did my interest in the character. Harlan witnesses and experiences major events in history, but falls right back into his old ways of boozing it up and chasing women. The character doesn't evolve. The supporting characters were more complex and interesting. I enjoyed the chapters about Harlan's parents, his parents' friends, and his young girlfriend. The stories of the people surrounding Harlan would have been a great book in the form of a collection of short stories. I found myself slogging through the chapters about adult Harlan, but wanting more of the secondary characters. Part of the problem is that Harlan's life covers the Black experience from about the 1920s to the 1960s/70s. McFadden uses Harlan as a plot device to name-drop Black celebs through the ages and tie together moments in history, but many of these moments felt random and lacked purpose. Don't get me wrong, the concept for the Book of Harlan was interesting, but the execution felt off. This is the first book I've read by McFadden, and she's a gifted writer, plus with the ability to craft phrases and describe scenes in a captivating way. Some of the chapters are enthralling, but McFadden struggles to tie everything together, and Harlan isn't a strong enough character to carry the book. As a result, the Book of Harlan reads like random moments from history shoehorned into a story. The Book of Harlan felt both too long and too short. Too long because of all the people crammed into the book, too short because Harlan doesn't feel fleshed out and some of the storylines feel underdeveloped. The book has won several awards and has good reviews on Amazon and Goodreads. It's not a terrible book, but I felt it was overrated. I honestly didn't get what all the fuss was about. The Book of Harlan is worth checking out if you're a fan of the author. You might also enjoy this book if you like books that explore society and culture through the ages, though be warned that McFadden takes some liberties with historical facts and events. Also, the author's views creep through when discussing Malcolm X and Marilyn Monroe's death/suicide. Thanks again for tuning in, and I hope you return to watch future episodes. For more information about Noire Histoire, visit the Noire Histoire website. There you'll find text, video, and audio for each episode all in one place. Subscribe to the Noire Histoire newsletter to get fresh content delivered straight to your email inbox. You can also subscribe to the Noire Histoire YouTube channel for videos. If you're enjoying the content but would prefer to listen to audio, you can subscribe to the Noire Histoire podcast via iTunes, Apple Music, Stitcher, Spotify, Google Play, and SoundCloud. If you subscribe, please also take a few minutes to rate and review the show in iTunes. Follow Noire Histoire on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest. Enjoy the rest of your day.